Hi, I'm Chrissy Bold. I am the Math Curriculum Coordinator for grades 6 through 12 for Westford Public Schools. I'm here today to tell you about the 8th grade math placement process for the 2020-2021 school year. If you've had a child that's gone through the placement process before, then I do recommend that you still watch this video and review the procedures, as there have been some changes in general, but also some additional changes in response to the remote learning. The two math courses that are available to all students in 8th grade are 8th grade math and Algebra 1. Our 8th grade math course is the course that follows the Massachusetts Common Core 8th grade standards very closely. It includes a review or an introduction of some foundational Algebra 1 skills, but it also includes units on geometry and number sense. This course will prepare students for Algebra 1 college prep courses at Westford Academy. The Algebra 1 course was once upon a time WA's Honors Algebra 1 course. It's the same as the former Accelerated Algebra 1 course. This class requires strong independent learning strategies and study skills, and it could fulfill the Algebra 1 requirement at Westford Academy should students earn at least an 80% average in the class. Eligibility for this course is available for any student that is currently in a 7th grade accelerated class, students who are in current 7th grade standard classes who have maintained a 90% average over terms 1 and 2, and current PBL students at Stony Brook who have earned no more than 2 2s in term 1 or 1 2 in term 2 on the math standards in the math and the standards-based report card. The criteria based on it, once they're eligible to test and based on that eligibility, students participate in 3 different categories that add up to a composite score. The first is a study habits and skills rubric that is available on the Westford Public Schools website that your child's teacher will complete. The next piece is the 6th grade MCAS result that your child earned, and then the third piece is the result of an open response test, which I'll explain in a few moments. Based on those 3 criterion, there's a composite score that is compiled, and there's 3 outcomes from that. If students earn at least an 85 in that composite score, they're eligible to take Algebra 1 next year. If they earn between an 80 and an 84, that opens the window to a collaborative conversation that must happen between the student, the teacher, and you, the parents or guardians of that student, to determine, based on all of the individual circumstances, which class is going to be most appropriate for their success. And then students who earn less than an 80 in these 3 criterion are going to be eligible for 8th grade math. The study habits and skills rubric is a rubric that your child's current teacher will complete, assessing their habits in their learning style, their work habits, their ability to grasp new concepts and skills, their ability to retain concepts and skills from the past, or the use of efficient strategies and reasoning. So all 5 of these areas will be put together and calculate a score out that will be used as a percentage out of 24 in that composite. The MCAS score will be converted. There are 120 possible points that students can earn on this MCAS score. This specific child here earned 541. The maximum score is a 560 and the minimum score is a 440. So if we deduct the 440 points from the 541 and divide it by 120, this will give us the percentage of possible points that your child earned on the MCAS. The next piece is the open response test. This is different than the placement tests that your children may have taken in the past. This is designed to assess conceptual understanding and algebraic readiness of the material taught in 7th grade classes. It consists of 2 open response questions that welcome multiple problem-solving strategies. They're fairly open-ended in nature. Students must explain their process and their rationale in answering the question. Due to the nature of the test, no review material is provided. We really are looking to see, are they able to look at this problem, pull out the appropriate information, and decide on a strategy to get started working towards a solution. Students who take Algebra 1 are expected to have that conceptual understanding of a variety of skills that they can apply to these unique, new, non-routine situations that allow us to capture a student's developmental readiness for these abstract algebraic concepts. The logistics of the test are are unique due to our current circumstances of remote learning. The test will be available online May 13th at 2 p.m. Students will be provided a 45-minute testing window to answer these 2 open response questions. A practice test is available for them to practice using the platform and the tools. It's not a practice test where they're able to study from this and given math materials, but more, can they see how can they log in? Are there technical issues that you might be facing? Practice using the math entry tools and typing in the platforms and using the buttons, getting familiar with that. We ask that all students who plan to take the test on May 13th take this practice test by May 11th. This will help us to eliminate any potential technical difficulties that they could run into. We ask that you support your child by providing them a reliable testing environment with all materials that they might need. Some things you can do with that are help to limit the bandwidth that's been being taken up in other areas of your home. While this isn't a very bandwidth heavy website, there's no multimedia being used. Depending on what your Wi-Fi situation is, it's just important to limit those other things that might interfere. Providing pencil and paper to your student, having some water, there's not going to be opportunity to pause and take breaks. So it's important that everything is taken care of ahead of time. Tests should be completed independently. So once they've logged in and they're ready to go, they should not be receiving any more support from parents, siblings, friends, anything like that. We really need your support in providing that test-taking environment so that we can protect the integrity of this test remotely. Retakes and extensions cannot be provided, so it's incredibly important that you reach out to me with any accommodation requests or concerns, or we work through your technical difficulties by May 11th, so that way May 13th is ready to go. I understand that there may be conflicts with this date and time, so please do reach out to me should that be the case. This is an example student who went through the process. This is the same student from that MCAS report that I shared earlier. This student had an average of a 92 from the first 2 terms, so they're eligible to take the test no matter what class they were in. On their open response test, they earned an 85. The way that score is determined is the responses are going to be double blind graded by 2 middle school math teachers. They will both get your child's responses, they won't know who your child is, and use the same scoring rubric to come up with an answer. Then we'll take the average of the 2 scores to determine what to use for this cumulative composite score. So that student earned an 85, which is worth a third, so 28.9 points towards that composite score. This child's teacher gave them a 21 out of the possible 24 points on that study skills rubric. And then their 6th grade MCAS score was 84% of possible MCAS points. So all of those pieces put together make that student eligible for Algebra 1 because of their 85.5. Now, had they earned an 84.5 or an 84, then that would have kicked them into the category that opened up a conversation with the teacher and the parents and the student to discuss the individual circumstances of your child to determine which class is going to be the most appropriate for them to be successful in the long run. Some of the characteristics that we've determined that we will use in these conversations for students to be successful in Algebra 1 in 8th grade can be found online. However, I'll go through some of them here. Students who complete assessments in timely manner using efficient strategies is incredibly important. Students who are able to apply skills and concepts to new and non-routine situations. We're assessing some of these through our open response questions. Students are independent and self-motivated learners. Students who transition easily and maintain focus on learning experiences without needing prompting is important. Students who have the ability to grasp new concepts at a rigorous pace without intervention. Now, of course, all people need help from every now and then to learn something new. That's not the type of intervention I'm talking about. If you find your child is staying after with their teacher regularly or accessing the school interventionist, these are the kinds of things that you want to consider before seeking the Algebra 1 course. Students are actively engaged in classroom activities and discussions. Students complete homework independently and thoroughly in an appropriate amount of time, probably without prompting as well. Students are receptive to constructive feedback. That's important, as sometimes they may have gotten the correct answer, but there's still feedback that will help them to improve their strategy. Students who make effective and efficient use of class time, students who independently seek clarification when necessary, students who complete assignments according to the directions, and then in the future they will need to, and next year, maintain their recommended grade prerequisite in order to be eligible for honors level moving forward. Now, some students who have moved into the Algebra 1 course in 8th grade have identified these following challenges. They've identified that there's a change of pace, it's faster, and that can be a change. There's limited review of prerequisite content when starting new concepts. We're expecting that they have a true mastery. There's minimal review before assessments. Students need to proactively and independently review material consistently in order to be successful on assessments. There is no extra time allotted on those assessments unless there's some other specification allowing for that. Absences have been, there's an absence of steps when solving problems. So we don't define part A, part B, part C. We expect students to dive right on into the math and take risks, try some things in order to work towards solutions. And we have an emphasis on procedure rather than just achieving the right answer. We want them to learn the concepts, not just learning some steps. We want them to understand efficiency and understand what they're working towards. Consistent support at home, routine study habits, and consistent review can really help to make this successful. Our timeline this year is starting right now. Letters will be sent home to the email address that you have listed in your child's iPass account or iParent. Will be sent home Monday, the 28th. We ask that all students who are going to do this take the practice test on Edulastic by the 11th and send any accommodation requests or concerns or technical issues to me by then as well. The test will be administered the 13th at 2 p.m. online. And then the results should be sent home the 22nd. I'm hesitant to say that because we might need a little extra time, but it should be right around then. All deadlines are firm. We cannot make exceptions. If you have questions, please reach out to your child's teacher if you have questions specific to them. If you have questions about the process, please contact me directly at kbold@westfordk12.us. I look forward to speaking with you should you have questions. And I definitely hope that this addressed all of your potential concerns, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.